想开发一下你的右脑吗？那我们进去问一下好吧。好 ，Let's go。那校长，什么是右脑开发啊？
Right brain training is a skills training. For preschoolers, the brain is divided into the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. The right hemisphere is what we call the image brain, the brain that processes images, whereas the left hemisphere is the brain that helps to process language. So during the child's age 3 and below, they predominantly use their right brain, and whereas when they go on to 3 and above, they will start to use the left brain in learn language and reading and writing. And 6 years and above, they will predominantly use their left brain. So that is why from 0 to 6 years old, we call it the critical period for this right brain cognitive development. So it's important to give them that stimulation to help develop the right brain ability of the child.
那右脑开发的小孩跟一般小孩有什么不一样呢？
For children who have done right brain training, you will actually observe that they have 5 strengths. The first strength would be they have photographic memory, they can remember information. Secondly, they have very good concentration, very good attention span, the ability to focus on a task. And thirdly, they will have high-speed processing ability. That means when you give them an information, they are able to process it fast and problem solve. And fourth, they are able to have good comprehension ability, meaning that if they read, they will be able to understand easily. And lastly, on the fifth side, they will have good creativity. So that is why right brain training children, they will have good confidence to develop their ability. So our activities, 15 minutes class, we have 50 over activities. So each activity is about 1 minute. It means that it requires very high speed delivery and it's very difficult to replicate at home. So that is why you need to make use of the classroom environment, the music, the lightings, and the delivery of the teachers to develop an environment that can help activate the right brain of children.
日本的右脑开发跟新加坡的有什么不一样吗？
Okay, for our right brain training school, it's exactly what you actually see in Japan. So you are really getting the very authentic right brain training experience. And the only difference is that we actually adapt the content to be more relevant to Singapore context, to our education environment. So, sometimes what the children see in the primary school, they will get to see it, in our right brain training school. In fact, this right brain training is very suitable and very appropriate for all children from 6-month infant all the way to 12-year-old children. They can actually come and actually get their right brain activated.
校长，你刚刚说右脑开发是适合6个月到12岁，为什么是6个月啊？
Okay, because a child's basic needs when they are below 6 months would be more on sleep and also feeding. So it's also not developmentally appropriate to ask a 6 months and below baby infant to actually sit up for a class. So that is why we have to wait until that they have developed physically in terms of being able to sit up with the help of a guardian or a parent. Then it will be appropriate for them to start the lesson 6 months onwards.
Aiden， 上完课之后，妈妈觉得妈妈右脑好像也被开发嘞。你看，我有没有变比较聪明？有吗？真的？
Agnes, let me start with you. I know a big part, an important part of the Heguru method at Fusionopolis is really training a child's right brain and the left brain. What's the difference? Tell me more about that.
Okay, it's a very good question. And in fact, a child's brain is divided into a right brain and left brain. The left brain, the characteristics is that they actually understand information at a very low speed, and they understand information slowly one at a time, and they are only able to process a small amount of information. And that is what we call the linguistic function brain, where the dominant part is the language portion. In simpler terms, it actually means that a child learns words, learns numerals and alphabets. that is the usage of left brain. And whereas on the other hand, the right brain is what we call the image brain, whereby the right brain will process the image, the visual imagery, comprehend it, and make sense of what we see. And how do you activate the right brain is through like what we do in our classes. We do flashcards to stimulate and exercise the right brain. It's like muscle. The more you exercise, the stronger it gets. And why we want to tap on this right brain training is because this brain is very important. It's the brain that enable us to learn fast and also able to process a large amount of information, as well as being able to actually think faster, process it all together. And we believe that, for right brain training is essential for children because if they tap on this ability in any academic learning or even in sports and music, they will have very good memory, excellent focus, as well as being able to process any information fast. And imagine the amount of information or knowledge they can learn if they use their right brain to process it. It will really help them so much in their life. And of course, we want them to be confident learners so that they can go on to have a very successful and happy life.
Mr. Henmi, is there a right age to start this right brain training? For example, my two children, my two elder ones, they are already in primary school. Am I too late?
時期としては早ければ早いほど、効果が高いということはあります。でも私たちは時間を戻ることはできません。ですからこれからのことを考えた時にも小学生でそこから大きくやっぱり右脳を開いて大きな成果につながっているという例はありますから、まずはお子さんが授業を試してみて、そして楽しむようであれば非常に可能性はあると思います。
Another important aspect of the program is wave reading or huddle reading. Mrs. Henmi, tell me a little bit more about that.
波動という読みというのは、まず子どもたちが右脳を活性化した時に、だんだんなんて言うんでしょう、普通に本はまず子どもたちは読めますよね。だけど右脳を活性化していくと、それが普通に読むところからスタートをしてだんだん速くなり、そして右脳を活性化したあるレベルに達した時にさっと見た時に自分がそれを、イメージと全体的なものを把握できる能力に発展していきます。それをこちらの方で始めるということになります。
So why is it important, for example, to read so many books and so quickly?
右脳を活性化してくると頭の回転が速くなるんですね。でこれは、子どもたちがだんだん自分の頭の回転が速くなってきた時に、本ってすごく早く読めるんだと、子どもたちがそれが自分がやらされてるのではなく、自分がそれがすごく楽しんでできるレベルまで開発されたということになるんですね。ですのでこの波動リーディングはそれが目標ではなく、それが何て言うんでしょう、手段として今は子どもたちに使われてます。なので頭の回転が活性化されたイコール早く読めるイコール次の能力にどんどんそれを入り口としてステップアップしていく形に子どもは楽しんで使っているのが今の現状なんですけども、だいたい年齢的には小学校に入ったぐらいが多いですね。なので7歳から8歳が多いんですけども、じゃあ7歳から8歳で波動読みをするためにはその以前にそうですね2歳3歳とかそれぐらいから通われて、そして7歳8歳で波動リーディングができるようになることが一番よろしいと思います。一番自然だと思います。
Okay, so it does take a little bit of time. Okay, so Agnes, my next question is for you. We all know, as a mummy, I also know that teachers are such an important part of an institution like yours. How do you at Fusionopolis firstly select your teachers and how do you train them?
Okay. I think qualification is only one of the factors that we actually look into. I think most importantly when we interview the candidate, we feel that we must ask if they love children, because teaching comes really from the heart, and from the love for the children, they will have that passion. And because our lesson is very lively and you need to engage the children in class, And after the selection, we will send them to Japan to be trained by Mr. and Mrs. Henmi. And in the training in Japan is very rigorous. What they do is that they have to pass a series of skills tests in the flashcards, in the voice projection, in the delivery, because it's a very fast-paced class. And thereafter, they will even have to take a theory test to understand the philosophy behind this Heguru method, where Mr. Henmi will actually personally conduct the lesson on the philosophy. So with this training, right, and they will have to pass a practical test with Mrs. Henmi and the team. And once they completed this training in Japan, they will be certified as a instructor, program instructor. And that's not the end. When we actually come back to Singapore, what we do is that we have training every week. Because our curriculum is so dynamic and fast-paced, every week we have a different curriculum running. So every week our teachers have to go through the flow, have to update themselves and how they're going to deliver the instruction and the curriculum and learn new dances in the class for the children. And that's not the end. We will also video the teachers in the class. That's where we want to actually emphasize on the teachers' delivery, how they build rapport in the children in class. And we will send the video to headquarters in Japan for Mrs. Henmi and the team to take a look and give us feedback on how we can improve the program. So you can see that we actually put in a lot of effort, and teachers at our center, they are very committed with this kind of training, and every week we have different curriculums. So I'm very confident about our teachers here at Heguru Fusionopolis. I'm very confident that they will be able to deliver a very good program.
It's so much easier and so much cheaper, not to mention, to just train the teachers here locally. So why bother to send them to Japan to do it?
Very good question. In fact, it's a struggle for us. It's so much cheaper to have our teachers here in Singapore, but we feel that what is in the essence of this program is to have our teachers understand from their heart and their mind about the philosophy behind this program, about how Mr. and Mrs. Henmi established the school, and how the teachers in Japan, how committed and the passion that they put in to deliver the program. And personally, I have witnessed the difference in the skills when I actually prepare the teachers here in Singapore, and after they return from the Japan training, I could see their skills different, and the way they teach the children, they deliver the skills and the heart is very, very different. So that is why we are committed to actually invest in our teachers to send them to Japan for this training.
Mrs. Henmi, as you can tell, Agnes is very passionate about the Heguru method. You also know Claire as well as Rachel, the other two co-founders. What do you have to say about them?
3人とも全員日本に来てヘグルメソッドを全員学びました。で3人ともとても熱心で、それぞれに個性がありますけども、でもその3人の個性がうまくこの教室を運営していくのにマッチして、そして、その3人のパワーが、ここの教室がさらになんて言うんでしょうね、ベースになってる、というのはとても感じてます。はい。
Okay, well, Mr. Henmi, I know that you have a lot of confidence in the three co-founders. I would like to ask you to speak to the parents. Why should the parents send their children here to Heguru at Fusionopolis?
本当にこの3人はとても熱心であると同時にですね、ヘーグルの本当に基礎のフィロソフィーとか、要するに哲学、それから教育方法、そういったものを3人が本当にそれぞれの活躍分野、役割は違うんですけれども、きちっとそのベースは共有しているということが非常に大きなことだと思います。やっぱり経営といってもやはりそのベースは教育ですから、まずはその教育ということから始まっているということが非常に私どもとしては心強く感じるところです。
Mr. Henmi, what is your vision for Heguru at Fusionopolis?
本当にですね、まず規模が大きくなるっていうことも非常に大事なことですけども、まずは子どもたちにきちっと大きな成果、本部と同様なですね成果を上げてほしい。これが一番希望するところです。
Okay, this is a big question, but in a way, Mr. Henmi has already answered that. What would you say if there are parents out there who are thinking about whether to send their children here? what do you have to say to them? Agnes, let's start with you.
I would like to share with all the parents that every child at a young age, early years, should really receive right brain training, because with this development of right brain training, they can actually help them learn faster and make learning so much more enjoyable, because we went through education, learning is a long journey, but if they have the basic foundation in this brain, and whatever they learn, even at large amount, they are able to process it, remember it and focus, it will help them even in the left brain learning about what we call the schools, primary school education, all the way to universities. So our vision, or our call for parents is to send them for right brain training with us here at Hegu Fusionopolis, and you will build a very strong foundation for them.
まず人間には右脳と左脳があります。ですから左脳の教育というのはどこの国もやってますね。だけどせっかくある右脳の教育っていうところが、ちゃんと小さい頃からねしっかりとやるプログラムってあんまりないと思うんですね。でも今こちらのね、教室にはその右脳のプログラムというものがちゃんとあるので、その子どもの年齢に応じて右脳と左脳を両方しっかりと教育していくと、その子どもが持って生まれたいいものをちゃんと引き出してあげる。教育というのは与えるんではなくて引き出すエデュケーション、引き出すことなので、だからもともと持っている右脳のパワーをちゃんと引き出してあげる。そのためには早めにやった方がいいと思っています。また教室においてはもう皆さん明るくって元気で、とても子どもさんが楽しんで通っていると思います。やっぱり子どもは楽しまないとダメだと思うんですね。楽しくないところに子どもは行きたくないです。やっぱり心から楽しめるところをやっぱり選んでいただきたいなと思いますのでね、そのためにはぜひおすすめです。はい。
That's perfect. That's very inspiring.
もともとどの子も持ってますのでね、それをいかに周りが気がついて引き出してあげて認めてあげるかですよね。子どもは認められた能力しか出したがらないですね。ですからそこのところを理解してあげることが大切ですね。
What about you, Mr. Henmi? Why should parents send to this center at Fusionopolis?
まずとても先生たちが元気で、先ほど代表もありましたパワーがあるということこれはもうここに来てもらえばすぐに分かると思います。でやっぱり子どもはとにかく元気でパワーのあるところが大好きですから、まずそこから始まってね、そしてあともう一つはやっぱり、子どもだけでなく、やはりお父さんお母さんに勝る、教育者というかはいないわけですね。そこをこちら側としてはビッグサポート、していきます。そういった意味では親と子が共に学べるというか成長していけるというね、そういった場であるということが非常に我々としては楽しく感じております。はい。
Okay. All right. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. and Mrs. Henmi and Agnes. Thank you.